Welcome to the podcast of the International Committee on Nigeria, also known as ICON. I'm your host, Tei Pam. October ended in Nigeria with over 200 deaths as a result of terrorism and approximately 200 abductions. Now, in the month of November, we have already recorded about approximately 15 deaths in Nigeria. Um, we know and understand that there's a lot of chaos and crazy stuff happening around the world, but we continue to tell you this information so we can do something about what's happening in the world. You and I, together, if we come together, we have the power and the ability to make things better around the world and in Nigeria, to be precise. Um, on today's podcast, we're going to be hosting the co-founder of the International Committee on Nigeria, Stephen Enada, and he's going to be giving us some updates about what's happening in Nigeria and what are possible practical solutions to the challenges that we have in regards to the persecution of believers and the killings and the crisis happening in Nigeria. Stephen, you're welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Taya. It's my pleasure to be with you this afternoon.
We are experiencing a little bit of communication challenge, and that's why we can see Stephen on the screen. But we will go ahead with the podcast while the team tries to put that together. You might just listen and hear Stephen's voice and see me all through the time. That's crazy. But then just stay tuned with us. Stephen, you're welcome again, and sorry for the technical hitches we have today. Stephen, can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. It's good to have you on the podcast. Can you hear me, Stephen?
You are breaking. I can't hear you. I can barely hear you.
Okay. If you can hear me now, my first question for you is for you to give us a brief update on the current situation in Nigeria, the current things that are occurring in Nigeria. If you can hear me, just go ahead.
Yeah, if I hear you well, you are saying that I should try to provide some updates on what is happening in Nigeria. Is that correct? If I hear you well.
Exactly. 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 Oh, it's good to see you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, my dear brother. Yeah. Nigeria is embroiled with another level of violence, and to be specific, this is in a state where there were reports of some skirmishes between Hausa Fulani community and then the Igbo community in the town of Uibo in Rivers State. This actually came out of NSAS protests, as we were told. It happened that Rivers State governor and the federal government of Nigeria sent military there maybe to quell the crisis. Unfortunately, it was diving into military burning houses, shooting people dead. So there are numbers of dead bodies, which up till now, we have not laid our hands on how many people have been killed. But what we can say is that the town is deserted, and then children are hiding in the rubble because even as of yesterday, there were still noises of a gunshot from the Nigerian military. Unfortunately, there is food crisis there now, hunger, as these people can't access water, they can't access food. So there is that crisis in River State, Nigeria, especially the town of Uibo. And this, we want to bring it to the attention of the world that Nigeria is facing different trends of atrocities. This time around, perpetrated by security agency and government, state government, like that of River State.
That is a huge challenge. So most of the time, the challenges that we have been talking about, especially with the terrorist activities and the Fulani militants in Nigeria, has been concentrated in the northern part or the northeastern part and the north central part of Nigeria. But we see that there's an escalation now in states like River State. Would you say that River State and the town you just mentioned are the only states and towns that are impacted by this rising violence and killings in Nigeria right now? Or are there other parts of the country that has been affected somewhere, somehow, with either the NSAS protesters being shot or the military and the government being complicit in the killing of innocent people in different states in Nigeria?
I can barely hear you, Teye.
Okay, so let me go again. Are there other states in Nigeria that are facing this challenge you just described, especially the innocent killing of people by either the military and the government being complicit in Nigeria?
Well, with what concerning the NSAS, there is a relative calmness in a way because the protesters are no longer in the street. But what we see happening now is civil society intimidation when it has been reported that goods that government store, which is tagged as COVID palliative, reports had it that some people went to break into the warehouses and cut away those food. So now government is going from house to house to say they are going to arrest whoever they find this palliative food with. Now, that said, we look at that as government not doing it the right way, because in Adamawa State, it's been said that government is threatening to demolish any house they find COVID palliative that was carted away from the warehouse. Now, the intimidation that has come out of it is also, there is Modupe Odele, who actually wanted to travel out of Nigeria for vacation. She's a lawyer. Then she was arrested at the airport. She was arrested at the airport, and that is intimidation. That is harassment. She has done nothing wrong, and it is really it's a disgraceful of Nigeria government to arrest her and prevent her from traveling. She just it's a fundamental right to protest. It's a fundamental right to support protesters who are peacefully protesting. And that is what gives birth to civil society organization to participate, to see that, to ensuring that things are done rightly and to hold their government accountable. So there is no basis for her arrest.
That is a growing concern that I continue to observe personally with this present administration in Nigeria, and that is the limitation of human rights and the freedom of people to express themselves. So there are all kinds of bills that is being pushed from control of social media. Journalists are being muzzled and made not to talk, and people are struggling to express themselves. If you do express yourself, you get into trouble with the administration. So it's a really, really sad thing to hear about the situation with Modupe, who is one of the leaders of the NSAS movement in Nigeria. So can anything be done to put anything practical? What are practical steps that you see to put an end to this situation in Nigeria, from the human rights violations to the attempt by the government to try to restrict freedom of speech and expressions?
Yeah, this is really, this runs against International Convention on Human Rights, because every citizen has the right to organize, protest, also ask government or take government to task on what they think is not on where community is. You check and balance. Now Nigeria, we are seeing like authority. So we are obviously a totalitarian government, and this must be addressed. International community must look into this. United Nations must not keep quiet. Nigeria government must be held to account for all of this intimidation, harassment, arbitrary arrest of innocent citizens. They ought to have sanctioned Nigeria before now. Not doing that has emboldened Nigeria government to run rogue.
Thank you very much for your insights and the knowledge you continue to share with us on the podcast, with all the people that continue to stay with us and view this podcast. That's about it for today, Stephen. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, and we hope to see you again next week.
Yeah, thank you. But also, I know there are some unsettling dynamics in our world, but at this time, my counsel to people is that either in the United States or wherever, you just need to be calm, because everything will be okay. So I know a lot of people are despondent. There are divisions. It's not about political issues. What we think, I want to tell people that United States of America always rise above her problem, because even if there is an error, if there is a problem, it corrects itself. So at this stage, I think everybody to be calm. Everybody just everybody should allow the rule of law to prevail, and that is all. So me, it's not a matter of taking side, but rather it's a matter of being hopeful that at least where we see injustice or where we see some kind of issues bothering any community, there is a process to resolve them, and that is what I think people should this time embrace. Thank you, Teye, for having me in your podcast. It's always my pleasure to be with you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Stephen, and thank you for those very encouraging words. That's all we have for you today on the podcast. Please follow us on our social media platforms, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and visit our website on www.iconhelp.org and join us, see what we're doing, be part of what we're doing. From Nigeria to the US, to the UK, and all around the world, there's so much chaos going on. But once there's life, there's hope. So let's keep hope alive, and let's have a beautiful weekend. Thank you.
For all the victories that you have won, as joy comes with the rise.